All right, Math 1, Unit 8, Section 3, Box and Whisker plots. Now, box and whisker plots can be interesting with statistics and to visualize some data. Um, there are 5 important pieces of a box and whisker plot that we're going to have to use. We have the minimum, which is what it sounds like. It's the smallest number. And then I'll go up to the maximum. That's what we sound like. That's what it sounds like. It's the max number. The median is called the middle number. And it's not quite the average, and I'll show you how to get to it in just a second. And then, after you find those 3, you find Q1 and Q2. And Q1 is the median of the first half of it, and then Q2 is the median of the second half. So follow along and let's see how we can get there. So for starters, I'm just going to write it out here, our minimum, that's a min is 63. Our max is 79. So I'm going to draw a number line here. And I'm going to have my smallest number be 73. And I'm going to have, not 73, 63. 63. And my biggest number is going to be 79. I'm going to write tally marks counting up by 2. So 63, 65, 67, 69, 71, 73, 75, 77, 79. So I'll just erase this one down there. So here will be our, I'll make the 79 bigger too. This will be our box and whisker plot. Now I'm going to fix this too. Oops. All right, there we go, there we go. Our min and our max are denoted by dots. Not like a dot plot, this is different. So I'm going to put a dot above our min and our max. Now, just like I said in the beginning, the next thing to find is our median. Our median is the middle number. So what we're going to do is we're going to cross off the first and the last number, and then we're going to keep doing that. We'll cross off the new first and last number, first and last number, first and last number, first and last number, and 71 is our median. I'm going to circle it, and I'm going to erase the rest of this. So our median is 71. Okay. On your 71, you're going to put a vertical line like this. Now we need to find the Q1, the quartile 1, and quartile 2. Q1, you do the same thing as what we did for the median, only this time we only deal with this part, the first half of the data. So I'm going to cross off the first and the last, and I'm left with 67. On 67, I'm also going to put a little vertical line. Now I'm going to do that for the second set of data, 71 and 79, 72 and 76, and I'm left with 74. 74 is going to be between 73 and 75, and I put a vertical line there too. Now our 3 vertical lines connect at the bottom and top, and a line comes out of the middle of these to make our little whiskers. And there's our box and whisker plot. So again, let me just label these on here. Here's our min, here's Q1, here's median, Q2, and our max. Now there's some neat things that we can do with our box and whisker plot, that we can just kind of visualize the data. Each of these 4 pieces, how do I want to put that? There, and there, has 25% of the data in it. All right, so if you were randomly sampling these, we're talking about men's heights, and you were to randomly select someone, it would be a 25% chance that they would be between 63 and 67, 25% chance. you'd have a 25% chance that they would be between 74 and 79 also. So that's kind of neat. It's just some different ways to see it. I don't know why people decided to draw it the way that they did, but I do think that it can show some interesting data points really easily to us. Right now, we don't really care about analyzing box and whisker plots. We just care about being able to draw them. So let's move on to number 2. All right, minutes to run a 5K. I'm going to start off with my min and my max. My min is 22. My max is 44.4. And I'm going to draw my little number line. And I'll start off with 22 and I'll count by 2s. So 22, 24, 26, 28, 30, 32, 34, 36, 38, 40, 42, 44, and I really need 44.4, so I'll put a 46 in there also. Now, one extra thing about this, whenever you're drawing a box and whisker chart, you kind of want all the different intervals to be equal. And what I mean by that is you want 22 and 24 to be the same distance from 28 and 30, right? Because they cover 2 units, right? So there we are. Let's put our dots on the min and the max. The max is just bigger than 44, so we'll put it right there. Now we need to find the median. And again, the median is the middle number. That's how I remember it. Median, middle. I'm going to start off by crossing out the first and the last, and then the new first and last, the new first and last, and I'll continue until I have a middle point. So 31.9 will give me 32. Oh, well, it's about 32. So 31.9 is my median, and I'm going to put my line right about on the 32. I'm going to circle that number, and then I'm going to erase my marks. If you're doing this on paper and you're not able to erase as easily as I can, you might just want to put little like underlines, like underline a number whenever you do it. Whatever works for you. Rather than crossing it out, you could underline it. All right, now for Q1, I'm going to look at the first half of the data, cross out the first and last, and I'm left with 25.6. Well, that's somewhere near 26. I'll just go just a little bit less than 26. The second half of the data, I'll do first, last, and I got 34.2. So Q2 is 34.2. That'll be just a little bit bigger than 34. Now I connect my dots, and I make my whiskers, and there we are. Now I said something at the beginning of the problem about having our the distance between each number be the same. I said something about having this distance there be the same as that distance there, be the same as that distance there. Now we're all drawing these, and I understand that our drawings aren't perfect, but our drawing is interesting, or it's close enough to where we can see that this piece here is much smaller than this piece here. That means that there are a lot of people that have, what is this, minutes. They have times between 32 and 34. And if we look back at our data, let me circle this one and this one too so we have it. If we look back at our data, between 32 and 34, there are 4 people with data in there, right? So that if you're picturing the people who were running this 5K, there were a lot of people that crossed the finish line right between 32 and 34, or a lot of people relative to the number of people running. And I just think that's kind of interesting. Whereas you can see over here, the slower people, the people who ran and finished last, they were just kind of staggered out there. I don't know. I think that's kind of interesting. It's neat that we're able to see that. Moving on to number 3. This one's we're doing the same thing, except now it's given to us in a chart. So I'm going to start with my min and max, just like before. Min, max, I've got 59 and 79.5. I'll start off with my number line, and I'll just start with 60. 62, 64, 66, 68, 70, 72, 74, 76, 78, 80. And if you're really concerned about how you're going to graph these and stuff, know that your homework is multiple choice for these. So that might help a little bit. Easier worry. My minimum is 59, so that's going to go all the way over here. My maximum is 79.5, so almost 80. Almost 80. Now I need to find my median. So I'm going to cross off the first and the last, then the new first and last, first and last, first and last, first and last, and I'm left with 73. So I'm going to put a vertical line on 73. I'll circle it and I'll erase actually I'll leave my marks there so that I could pretend like I'm doing it with pencil without erasing. Q1, now I'm going to cross out the first and last, and I'm left with 66. Q3, first and last, 77.2. 77.2 will be somewhere in the range of right there. I connect my vertical line, I connect my vertical lines and I draw in my whiskers, and there's my plot. All right, last one, number 4. My min, max, I'm just going to write them all out. Median, Q1 and Q2. My minimum is 4, my maximum is 34. To get my median, I'll start off by crossing off the first, last, first, last, first, last, first, last. But now I'm left with 2 of them. If I were to cross those off, I'd have nothing left. So really my median happens right there in between them. Whenever you're trying to get your median and you don't come down to a single number, you average the 2 that are next to it. So to average them, I add them up and divide by 2. So 7 plus 22 divided by 2 gives me, 7 plus 22 is 29, which is 14.5. So right here I have 14.5. 14.5. All right. Now it's important what you notice that I did there. Right? It's important that you notice what I did there. I tried to get my median, but there wasn't it didn't come out to just one number. I had 2 left. So I had to average those 2 numbers. Okay. Now moving on to Q1. To get Q1, I'll take the first and last, and notice that I included the 7. I used the 7 to find the median, and I also included it in the first half of the data. All right, so first and last, and then first and last, and I'm left with a 5. Q3, I'm going to use the 22 first and last, and I'm left with a 27. All right. Now also, just like how I found the median by averaging, if it ended up being that Q1 or Q2, you had 2 numbers left, you'd have to average those too, or you'd have to average those also. All right, now that we have our 5 data points, I can draw my chart. We're going to start off with 4, and we need to go all the way up to 34, so I'll say, well, 4, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, That's going to take too long. What if I multiply by 4 each time? This will be 4, 8, oops, 4, 8, 12. Good grief. I'm having a hard time here. 16, 30. Nope, not 30. Good grief. 20, 24, 28, 32, 36, 40. Well, I really don't have to go that far, but we'll just leave it just like that. All right, my minimum is 4, so I'm going to put a dot on the 4. My maximum is 34, so I'll put a dot on the 34. It would be somewhere right in there. It'd be between those two. My median is 14.5, so that's going to be somewhere right in this region. The median gets a vertical line. Q1 is right there at 5, right next to 4. Q2 is at 27 over here. And I'm going to connect my vertical lines like that. I'll draw my little lines for my whiskers. Now this again, I just want to talk about the data a little bit. We've finished the problem, but I want to talk about it. This has 25%, 25, 25, and 25. So we can see that a lot of people are right between the 4 and the 5. Right? 25% of the people, or what are these, school? Nope, these are schools. 25% of the schools made 4 to 5 appearances in a basketball tournament. So I think that's kind of neat. You're able to really quickly see, well, lots of people did this. All right, there we are. That's box and whisker chart.